Hello and welcome to the first in a new series of videos called Box to Board, where I help guide you through the simple steps of taking your shiny new Firefight 2-player starter set from the box all the way through to your exciting first games on the board. Today we're starting with how to build the Enforcer half of your box. Now some of you might be saying, I know how to build my miniatures, and if that's you, feel free to crack on. For those of you maybe a bit like me, who sometimes get a little overwhelmed by new games rules, with a bunch of miniatures to assemble, with a bunch of different options, without really knowing what's the best way to glue them into a usable army, then stick with me and I'll explain what the different models and weapon options are on the plastic sprues, how to build them into one of two evenly point costed armies, why I've chosen some of the weapon options, and then the finished army lists to give you a head start in getting everything ready for your first games. Now Mantic have included some information to help you inside the box in their Getting Started leaflet. However, I did notice their lists don't use all of the models included inside the box. So I'll be guiding you through building two roughly 820 point costed armies for the Enforcers and the Marauders. So let's get started with the super soldiers themselves, the Enforcers. Let's start with the Enforcers, and there's a total of 27 models to assemble here. I'll begin with these sprues which allow us to build the 5 Peacekeeper models. To start with, we'll build one of these as a Peacekeeper captain, who will lead your force onto the battlefield, as every army in Firefight needs at least one commander. We're going to use the head option with the open visor just to help make him stand out from the other Peacekeepers, and obviously because he needs to see better when he's given command orders. We're also going to equip him with his standard loadout of a Dominator rifle and a wrist blade. You'll find his stats on page 38 of the Force list book. Before you start clipping out all of the legs for the Peacekeepers, take note that the left and right legs are matched to a torso piece by a letter A to E on the sprue. Don't make the mistake of clipping everything out and mixing them up. Just do them one model at a time. All of the models in the Enforcer half of this box can be assembled using plastic glue, although super glue will work too. All 5 of your Peacekeeper models should be mounted on the 40mm bases, so these are the larger round MDF bases that you get inside the starter box. You'll need to use super glue to stick these models to the MDF bases, as plastic glue just isn't going to work here. Next up, we're going to build 3 other Peacekeeper troopers in their standard loadout. You'll find their stats on page 32 of the Force list book. Here we'll be equipping them with the Dominator rifle and those powerful energy gauntlets. Some of the rifles have the gauntlet moulded supporting the gun, so make sure you pair those up with the correct arm pieces. Lastly, you'll have one more Peacekeeper to build, and this one we're going to upgrade with their weapon option. You'll see on the stat line that you can equip one Peacekeeper with either an incinerator or a burst laser, and this is what the 2 options look like. I decided to go with the burst laser, as being able to easily pin your enemies in place is very useful, as it forces them to either use one of their actions to become unpinned, or even better, it gets them to use up one of their command dice. So that's our 5 Peacekeepers assembled and ready for action. Next, let's take a look at the jet bikes. There's 2 of these to build, and you can find their stats on page 33 of the Force list book. The first one we'll build as a standard loadout with the Dominator rifle. For the second one, let's upgrade the firepower a little and give it an HMX-32 missile launcher. Why this beast, you ask? Well, the 36-inch range is no joke, the tank-busting, armor-penetrating 4 is very helpful, and its keywords help against vehicles, flyers, and also allow you to split your fire between the 2 bikes. So the question probably you should be asking is, why wouldn't you use this? This is what your 2 weapon options look like, as I'm sure some folks will love to try and magnetize these underslung weapon upgrades. When building the jet bikes, don't glue on the clear flying stand bases and stems. If you want to paint your models, you'll want to leave these off when priming and painting them, so just attach them once you're finished so that they stay clear. Okay, we're going to need some grunts, if you can call Enforcer super soldiers grunts, so we'll be taking the Enforcer troop sprues now. There's a total of 20 models to build here, so let's break them down. First up, we're going to build 4 of the troops as unit leaders for the 4 units that they'll lead. 2 will lead Assault Enforcer units and 2 will lead Enforcer Operative units. However, we're going to equip them all the same to give a little boost of close combat armor penetration to these fellas. We're going to upgrade them all to have the Gendling laser pistol, which looks like this, and an energy gauntlet, which looks like this. Having these different weapon options also helps identify them as your leader model, which of course is very important for movement and measuring ranges. As with the Peacekeeper models, the torsos and legs are matched with letters A to E on the sprue, so make sure you clip and build them one model at a time so as not to mix them all up. Also, these models will all go on the 25mm round bases, and if you're new to Mantic Games, you may wonder what the little cutout in the base is for. Don't worry about it. These bases are used over a number of different types of models, and some used to come with little plugs that fitted into the hole. We're just going to flip the base over and glue to the flat side. Next, let's build our Enforcer operative units. You can see their stats on page 29 of the Force List book. We're going to build 6 of the troopers with the standard loadout of the Gendling laser rifle. This is the two-handed rifle option you can see here. Lastly, let's equip 2 of the troopers with a weapon upgrade. How does a burst laser sound, sir? Pinning your opponent down for just hitting them? Don't mind if I do. Now let's kit out your Assault Enforcers. You can find their stats on page 28 of the Force List book. We're going to build 6 of these troop models as Assault Enforcers and equip them with their standard loadout of a Gendling laser pistol and a wrist blade. The pistols are the one-handed guns, and the wrist blades, well, they look like blades coming out of their wrists, so they should be easy to identify. To round out the Assault Enforcer unit, we're going to upgrade 2 of them with an incinerator weapon each. What does that do, I hear you ask? Well, not only does it roll 2 dice to shoot rather than the 1 of the laser pistol, but it also has the keyword "it burns," which means that not only does it always hit on a 4+, but on a successful hit, your opponent must make a nerve roll, and if they fail, they count as activated even before you've rolled to wound them. Great for chewing up your opponent's activations. So let's have the chit chat, get those 2 loaded up with incinerators, and you now have your Enforcer army ready to go. Putting all of these together into a usable army, we end up with the following list. We start with our commander, the Peacekeeper Captain, who can take up to 2 Peacekeeper troops for company. I thought it was best to beef up this unit to max, as making your commander last as long as possible is useful to make sure that the green command die that he adds is there every turn. Here we add 2 of the Peacekeepers with their standard Dominator rifles. Next we take the remaining 2 Peacekeepers as a troop unit, one with a Dominator rifle and one with a burst laser. Make your burst laser the leader model, as not only does it make him easy to identify, but you'll also keep him on the board as the last man of the unit. Now we're going to have 2 5-person Enforcer operative troop units. Each one will have a leader with a pistol and an energy gauntlet, 3 troopers each with the Gendling laser rifles, and an upgraded trooper with a burst laser. Let's add another 2 troop units, this time of the Assault Enforcers. Each has a leader with pistol and energy gauntlet, 3 troopers with laser pistols and wrist blades, and an upgraded trooper with an incinerator. Our last unit, which is a specialist unit that we unlocked with any one of the troop units, is jet bikes. Again, make your leader bike the one with the missile launcher. This gives us a good spread of firepower and armor penetration with a little bit of anti-tank, anti-aircraft options. This rolls in at a total of 820 points. Not too shabby at all. So there you go. You can either get them on a table and have your first games, or you can get them prepped for some painting love. Either way, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell notification to make sure you don't miss any videos in this box to board series. Next up is the Marauders.